All right, looks like we're gonna go ahead and get started again. Thank you for joining me for part two. So I have a couple of issues that I think I've come across, and what I found out from our last game session that we had is I actually had a few things that I think need to be cleared up. The first one I know I did wrong was during the Overlord's turn. I actually double activated some models that were on the board, and they should have only been activated one time. And it's okay for a model to actually be activated during the interrupts and then activated again during the Overlord's turn. But I think I'd actually done two activations with the Ranger that was here on the same Overlord turn. So um, I had to fix that and get that going again because that was a pretty big mess up on my part. There was another one that I had to kind of really get myself reacquainted with the Invisible Overlord cards and how their activations go as far as what the threats were and what the actual order was because I think was doing it wrong where I would activate a model and they would have a order for, let's say, pin, and I would actually move the model and get up to the front arc of an enemy or a hero in this case, and I would continue on and do an attack with the model's second action. Technically, I don't think I was supposed to attack with the model. I think I was just to go through the action of doing the pin order. And then I was like thinking to myself too at the end. I was like, why didn't I ever get a chance to raise any of these bone piles? Well, there is this called a support order, and even though I didn't draw any cards that had the order of support in them, when a model, when I have the activation for a model that actually cannot carry out the full order, the default is to go back to support. And that would have actually allowed raising several of the bone piles of a model like the time where I was just moving the two models to get as close as possible to the heroes. Well, they actually would have never moved because they wouldn't have been able to carry out the full order. So what I would have done instead would have been to raise some close bone piles and continue on that way. So I'll try to fix that during this play, and I think I think that was the biggest thing was just learning the threats here. And I think there were some questions. I had some questions on like if there was a tie, and I think the rules just basically said if there's a tie, you know, roll, you know, roll random on it. So we'll go ahead and get started. And I think we're where we were last time, and we have two wounds on the human wizard Denor. Hope I'm saying that right. With those two wounds, that he will get an actual -1 on the dice rolls for his attack. If he's doing melee, I believe, or maybe even just any of the cards. I'm not. I'm so sorry, man. I feel like I'm just screwing up the rules here, but I think that's how it goes. Or the -1 dice. I have to check the rule sets I have on those. Let's see here. Those. I get these in quick reference here. Um, the modifiers. Okay, it's just -1 dice. This will actually be if the model's injured. So he will the wizard will get -1 dice if he's when he does his attacks. So I'll definitely be using those green power crystals that I have to kind of up his stuff. So I want to say at the end we had just finished up the Overlord turn, the second one I believe. So we were just getting back to doing the hero activations for the next round. So I got everybody's readied up here, and I'm refreshing the spells that were used at the last time, refreshing them 45 degrees. And go ahead and get started with the. Let's start and make sure my sound is on here. Go ahead and get started with the heroes, and let's see that our best bet is we definitely want to try to take down some of these things. This is definitely our uh, our biggest threats right here because they're keep going towards the wizard. So I know I have clear line of sight here on the skeleton archer. Oh, not archer, but the skeleton warrior with my archer. I definitely have good line of sight and good range. So I'm wondering if I could actually get a shot in his rear arc, then the model will get +1 die for his attack. So I may do that. I may move my ranger. He has a movement of 8. So I could go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Change my, I guess it doesn't really matter. I'll change my facing to here because he's still within my front arc. And I will, I have to stop my movement because I'm in, no, I guess I don't have to stop my movement on him because I'm not in the front arc. Maybe I can move to the top of this bone pile. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll do that. I will move here to prevent this bone pile from coming up, and I'm going to go ahead and range attack the skeleton or the skeleton warrior. And for that, the model is going to get +1 dice if attacking from its rear. Now, from what I understand from the rules, the model can never throw fewer than 2 dice, which he's already at a 2 for his combat. So if he can't get anything under a 2, then it starts to take away from his armor. So this skeleton's actually only going to get an armor of 1 instead of an armor of 2. My archer is going to hit for 4 for the shooting dice. And the skeleton's only going to get 1. No, I'm sorry, he's going to get 2 dice, but he has an armor now of 1 instead of 2. So anything I roll 1, they'll be feeble. So I did not roll any feeble attacks. 6, 5, 4, and 3. He only blocked 1 of my shots with the 5, but that means 3 came in, so he is off the board and dead. And that finishes his turn out. So we're going to go ahead and flip our next card over for the Overlord. And he does have an interrupt, so he's going to be able to use 2 models. He is going to be going after the armored. The armored is anybody with a hero with 4 or 5 armor. Looks like we only have 1 that has 4 armor, which is going to be the dwarf fighter. And his order is to attack. Now, here's the issue. I cannot move him. He has a movement of 4, so he can move 1, 2, 3, 4. I cannot move him in order to carry out this attack. So what we're going to do is, instead of carrying out the attack order, I can't do anything, so I have to default to support. Support is move any models that are more than a single move from any hero towards the action. For magic users, this includes casting spells that are not attacks. For the undead, this includes casting Raise the Dead on piles of bones that are not adjacent to a hero. So in this case, since he can't carry out that order, I now have 2 commands to give for Raise the Dead. So that is going to be what we're going to do. Now I need to make sure how many figures I can put on the board. So we're going to go to Adventure 1. I can have a max of 2 archers and a max of 4 warriors on the board. Okay. So I'm not sure which ones I should give. I'd say for if this first bone pile is going to be an archer or a warrior, 1 through 3 is archer, 4 through 6 is a warrior. Okay, so this first one's going to be an archer. He's going to choose his facing here. I guess that's front. Okay. And then the second one, same thing. 1 through 3 is archer. 4 through 6 is warrior. Okay, so we have 2 archers, and it's going to be here. Okay. All right, so now that's completed the interrupt for the 2 commands that he could give. And remember, once you've raised a bone pile, that is all the actions that the minion can take. So that's going to finish out the interrupt. So we did that. Feel a little bit better now that we're getting some of those bone piles up. But now we'll continue on. We have this skeleton warrior here, and I'd like to see if the wizard can do anything to kind of combat that. We have Crystallize, Fleet of Stone, and Break Ward. Break Ward is going to be for doors and such. Crystallize creates energy crystals, so we don't really need that. Fleet of Stone, target is unmovable to move. Is unable to move for the remainder of this round. They can attack and defend at -1 dice in addition to any other modifiers. So I'm not really seeing anything too much that he has as far as spells. But he does have a combat dice of 2. I'm assuming that means he can just melee somebody. I'm not really seeing too much there. Could try to get to the door. He has a movement of 7, so that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and then he would still have an action to go ahead and try to do a break ward on the door. I might try that, see if I can get him out there. And by skirting this way, I actually avoid standing in the front arc here. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He'll change his facing towards the door. And then he'll use his final thing. He'll use Break Ward. Single magical ward in an adjacent square is reduced in strength by 1. Actually, he didn't even need to use magical ward. He just needed to use combat dice. Okay, never mind on the break ward. We're not using a magical item here. I will try to maybe just take a swing at the door. So his combat dice, he gets 2. The door gets 3 dice to defend, and the door has an armor of 3, so I may not get to do anything at all. So let's see. Okay, so feeble attack, and the door successfully defended my pathetic little hand chops at it. So that finishes his turn out. So I know we've activated the ranger, and we've activated the wizard. So now we're going to flip over our second card. It's a no interrupt, so we can go ahead and continue on. I am going to have the dwarf, Rorden, to move up and to go ahead and really get in this guy's face with the hammer. So we're going to move up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to stop his action, and he's going to go ahead and attack. Now the let's see, the archers only have 1 armor, and they have 2 combat dice, so it's going to be 2 for him. And I have 4 for my dwarf. So hopefully this is going to be really good. So anything under a 1, or 1 and under, so we're going to exclude this one. We got a 5, a 4, and a 4. The 6 blocked my 5, but the 1 didn't get blocked, so he had 2 hits coming in. 2 hits is going to put him to a bone pile. I was hoping for more, but I'll take it. Alright, so that finishes his turn out, so we're going to flip the next card. And we do have another interrupt, so 1 is going to be activated, and this one is for Armored and Quest. Okay, so when we look at that, we know Armored is armor with a 4 or 5, so we only have 1. That's Rorden, this guy. That's going to be that focus. And for Quest, it's any hero that is either the object of a quest, or is carrying something required by it. For example, the hero being escorted to safety, or the hero carrying the magic key to the final door. We don't have anything, so as far as the quest goes, so the only thing we have is armor, so they're going to be going after him. The only one that can carry out this order is going to be the warrior right here. So he's going to go 1, 2, and he's going to stand right on top of that bone pile, and then he is going to attack. So the warrior is going to get 2 combat dice, and I will get 4 for mine. Okay, so alright, not good, not good. So this is a feeble attack on the skeleton's part. However, I rolled very, very poorly, and one of those hits got through, so that's all it took. So he now has 1 point of damage. So that finishes this. Oh, you know what? I totally messed that up. His order was to support. Read that wrong. Alright, so his order for support is to move models that are more than a single move from any hero towards the action. For magic users, this includes casting a spell. For the undead, it includes casting race. Okay, so this is basically just moving in for support. So 1, 2. That would have put him back here, and it would have moved this one, who is move any models that are more than a single move from any hero towards the action. Okay. So he's more than a single move, so that's going to move the archer in. They get 4 movement points. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So that's going to put him right there. And that's going to finish it out. Don't believe they get an attack because it's a support move, and there's really nothing else that I don't believe the intention is to have him fight, but I'm totally wrong. If somebody knows these cards better than I do, I would appreciate a little help, but this is the best thing I can do to interpret them. So that would have that done, and the dwarf has finished acting. We only have the barbarian next. Now, the barbarian is, I guess the best thing for him to do is just going to be to change his facing. During his, this is going to be his movement, but he's not going to move anywhere. I think that's his front. I can't ever tell with these sometimes. Okay, we'll say that's his front. And then he's still in the front arc of the skeleton, so he's not injured, so he's going to get his full 5 combat dice. He's really a good hitter. And the archer only gets 2. But, again, they have an armor of 1. So, not looking good for the archer. Alright, so these 2 are gone. Now we had a 5, a 5, and a 4. His 6 was blocked, or one of my 5s was blocked. The other 2 were not, so this one has also been reduced to a pile of bones. Okay, that's going to go ahead and finish out all of the heroes' turns. And now we're going to move into, I guess I didn't even realize I had these 2. Why didn't I remember that? Sometimes I have a problem with memory. Alright, so we're going to move into the Overlord turn. So the Overlord is going to draw his 2 cards. And the first card is resolved using the adventure-defined numbers. So instead of this one, it's a 1, it's going to be a 3. Threats are going to be Armored and Quest. That's going to be Rorden again. The order for this one is to attack. And so we're going to be moving. The first one is it's going to be able to carry out this order is this one. So he's going to move 1, 2. And then he's going to throw the attack at him. So he's going to get his 2. Rorden gets 4. And the skeleton is going to have to throw away anything that is a 4 or higher. Okay, so the skeleton didn't get anything. I don't remember which one this was, but that was all feeble for him. So it's hard to hit the dwarf. He is a tough guy. And now we have no other models on the board, so what we're going to default in is to support. And in order to do that, we're going to have to raise two bone piles because we have 2 remaining. Archers 1 through 3 and warriors 4 through 6. Okay, so now we have a warrior. Raise the bone pile here. Do that. Now, since we're raising a bone pile right there at our feet, the Orloff's going to get a free strike. And free strike is just like any others. He's going to get his 5 combat dice, and the skeleton is going to get 2. Alright. And looks like I rolled very kind of poorly. It's like combat dice of 2. So 2 6s on his 2 1s. Both of those got through, so he's back to a pile of bones. And now for my last activation, 1 through 3 is Archer, 4, 5, 6, Warrior. We're going to put that, I'm going to put that right here. Alright, so that's going to finish out the first card. Now the second card is going to be used with the number on here. So that is 1. Threat is going to be armored and wounded. Armored is, well, it's going to be Rorden, and wounded is going to be the wizard. So, looks like we have kind of a roll off here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, Rorden, 4, 5, 6, the wizard. Okay, so it's going to be the wizard, and the orders to support. Support again, move models that are more than a single move from any hero towards the action. So, he can't go because he's already been activated. He's already been activated, so really the only thing to do is we're going to have to raise another bone pile. That's all we can do. 1, 2, 3, Archer, 4, 5, 6, Warrior. Okay, so this is going to be Archer. The Archer is going to be raised here. Okay. So that completes out again the Overlord turn. And so we're going to switch back to our heroes again. Alright, let's see what's going on. What's going to happen? I think what I'm going to do is try to get somebody that is a lot harder hitting to the door, because it's going to take something quite big to break those. The door locks. I know the ranger has 3 combat dice and 4 shooting dice. I don't know what it means if you shoot an arrow at a door, but I'll just have to kind of take it. I know the wizard, you can do up to 1 major spell per turn or 2 minor spells. And I'm trying to see which one is considered major or minor. Okay, so minor is a flame bolt, major is burn. He could actually do 2 things. He could actually do a flame bolt and a break ward. So I might do that. I might move adjacent to the chest here. Change my facing. And I might do the break ward on the treasure chest. It's right next to me. So we're reducing its strength by 1. When the war strength is 0, it's broken. Okay, so this is minor, so it's going to be 945 degrees. So now we've opened this chest because it was a 1 here. And inside the chest we have 2 items. We have Healing Potion and Spider Silk Armor. Spider Silk Armor is for Elf only, and that's going to give him +1 armor. And the Healing Potion is the hero immediately removes 1 wound counter from his hero card. This item may be used during the Overlord's turn in response to taking a wound from attack. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I am going to use this absolutely right now to take a wound off of Denor. And that's going to be discarded, the healing potion. And so he also has the spider silk armor, which he's going to have to give to the elf. So there, I believe they're going to have to be adjacent for that. Alright, so that was my first minor spell. For the second one, I'm going to use Flame Bolt. Target suffers a 2 dice magical attack. Well, I think that I might need a little more help because I already have -1 dice. So I'm going to throw in 2 of my energy crystals. And so that's going to give me, this was supposed to be 2 dice, but since I have -1 for being injured, so this is going to go to 1 plus my 2 power crystals. This is going to give me a total of 3 dice to roll. Skeleton gets his 2 dice for defense. And we're going to roll and see what happens. They keep rolling really well on that. Jeez. So 4, 5, and 3. I got 6 was blocked and the 5 blocked, so only 1 came in. So I keep just wasting these things. Alright. Well, not much you can do. So that finishes out the wizard's turn. And now the ranger's going to come over. Maybe try to help out a little bit. 1, 2, 3. Changes facing this way. Back to the skeleton. I believe we have range. It's long. There's nothing prohibiting that. He's going to get his 4 shooting dice. And the skeleton only gets 2. Anything 2 or under is discarded. So this one's out. So we got a 5, 4, and a 3. Rolled a 2. Or 3 and a 2. All the shots come through, so he is now gone. Alright, so now this leaves... you know what I didn't do? I apologize. I went with him, and I did not flip the card over. Okay, but we had... After this, the wizard went. I should have flipped that over, but there was no interrupt for it. Now, after the elf... or the ranger's gone, flipping the next card, and there's no interrupt for that one. So now we can continue on, and we'll continue with the dwarf. He is going to move his 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then he is going to take a strong hit at that door. So he's going to get 4 combat dice. And the door gets a whopping 3. Anything 3 or under I have to discard. A little bit better that time, but it's looking good for the door. So I got 5, 5, and 4. Looks like they blocked 1 of my shots, but 2 of them came in. So now that means that this is at a, I don't know how to represent. It's at a 1. I'll just do that. It's only got needs 1 more hit because it had a total of 3. So that's going to be the dwarf's final turn. It was good. And then we flip over the card. No interrupts. So we're going to move on to our final hero, the barbarian. He's going to get 7 movement points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I don't want to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll just stand right here getting ready. Or is that okay? You know what? No, I'm going to go here. I'm not going to go that far. I just don't want too many things raising in front of me. Okay, so now that we're going to go into the Overlord turn, I think everybody's activated here. Keep forgetting to turn those over. So our first 2 cards, the first one is going to be with 3, the adventure defined number. And this one they're going to be targeting the marksman and the weakest. The weakest is going to be those that have the most wounds. So marksman and weakest. So now we have 2 tied for the weakest, which is the wizard and the dwarf, and 1 marksman. So we actually have 3, none of them that fit all those categories. And what they're going to do is gang up. Gang up is to move so that as many models as possible can fight the same hero. When there's no more room, do the same to the next hero. So move with as many as possible. Yeah, it's not really, there's not really any way to do that. So it looks like they're just going to fall into a support mode, which is going to be raising the bone piles. Alright, so there's really nothing we can do here anyway, so they're going to move in and do... we have one archer, so 1, 2, 3 is archer. There's a 4, so it's going to be a warrior. It's going to go here. First model. Second one. Let's see, 1, 2, 3 archer. Nope. Second one's here. And our third one is going to be another warrior right here. Alright, so now that finishes this card out. So our next one is 1 is going to activate, going after the marksman and the weakest. So again, it's pretty much the same thing. And the order is to attack. So one model can go after the archer, which is here. This is the only one that can complete that order. However, we still have the ones that are the weakest, so we have choices here. How to choose which one is the marksman and the weakest. I'm not sure. So what we're going to do here is this one is going to go after the marksman, since he's the closest one, and then he is going to, so the order is to attack, so we're going to move 1, 2, and now he has to end his movement, but he's only in the front arc of the archer here, not this one. This one's actually facing the door, so he's not going to get any negative dice for that. And the roll is going to be 2 for the skeleton, and the combat dice for the archer is 3. Oof, this is potentially not good, because I have been rolling really bad this game. Alright, so he rolled a 1 and a 6. The 1 goes away because it's feeble. I rolled a 3, and a 1, so that one of his... the 1, 6 comes through, and the marksman now has taken a hit. Okay, so now we're at the end of the Overlord turn, so we're going to refresh everything. And then I think we're going to go ahead and end it here for part 2. We are at the 30-minute mark, and I think we're doing a little better. I still come up with a couple of questions on sometimes how these cards should activate. I know one question did come up in my head about how do I keep the timer going on this, since we're not using a standard Overlord deck. And I notice once the standard Overlord cards run out, you don't reshuffle them, but it pretty much signals the end of the game. But I'll have to figure that out. Hopefully I'll have the answer to that when I come back to part 3. And then we'll go ahead. I'm not seeing any trouble breaking this door down, but I do have some of the figures here that are definitely going to be coming up to visit me here real soon. So again, thanks for joining me. If you've seen any issues with the rules I've been laying out here, or my interpretation of them, please let me know. I would really love some collaboration on this and some help. I know there's not really too many resources out there that actually talks about the Overlord cards, but I'm trying to get them right as best as possible. And hopefully, if I at least get them 50% right, I'm helping somebody else out there, but I don't want to get them so wrong that I make the game unenjoyable. So leave me any comments that you feel will be helpful, and I can try to address those and work those out in our subsequent parts that come out. Again, thanks for joining me, and I hope you had a good time watching.